Good morning. Let's go ahead and ignore the fact that the tornado sirens are going off. It's not sirens, they're testing the system. But welcome to a very special reading vlog. I decided, alongside my normal reading vlog that I am doing this week, that I wanted to do one for a specific book. And the specific book that I want to do, if you guys saw my normal reading vlog, I don't know which one's going up first. I don't know if this one is or my normal reading vlog is going to go up. But I wanted to read Elevation by Stephen King. It's so shiny. This book is stunning. Like, I'm not gonna lie, this might be my favorite cover of a book ever. Also the inside, hello, drop dead gorgeous. But the thing is, this book is really short. It's 147 pages, I think. I keep looking, but I keep not wanting to look. 146. Because I'm afraid I'm gonna spoil myself. But this book, I'm gonna go ahead and read the synopsis for you guys so you guys kind of know what we're working with. Castle Rock is a small town where word gets around quickly. I'm actually really excited about that because Castle Rock is my favorite place in the Stephen King universe. But it says that's why Scott Carey wants to confide only in his friend Dr. Bob Ellis about his strange condition. He's losing weight without getting thinner, and the scales register the same whether he's in his clothes or out of them, no matter how heavy they are. Scott also has new neighbors who have opened a fine dining experience in town, although it's an experience being shunned by the locals. Deidre McComb and her wife, Missy Donaldson, don't exactly conform to a lifestyle the community approves of. And now Scott seems trapped in a feud with the couple over their dogs dropping their business on his lawn. Missy may be warm and friendly, but Deidre is as cold as ice. As the town prepares for its annual Thanksgiving 12K run, Scott begins to understand the prejudices the women face and tries to help. Unlikely alliances form, and the mystery of Scott's affliction brings out the best in people who have indulged the worst in themselves and others. For master storyteller Stephen King, who has always excelled at writing about real people tested by unreal situations, comes this compelling tale about finding a common ground despite differences, a magical story with a deep resonance for our time. So here's why I wanted to do this. This book, if you're not familiar, is Stephen King's most recent book. But if you're also not familiar, Stephen King spends a lot of time on Twitter, a lot of time grandpa raving on Twitter about politics, to the point where Donald Trump actually blocked him, which actually I found out is unconstitutional and Donald Trump's not allowed to do that anymore. Pardon me while I go ahead and blast him on Twitter where he can't block me. But the thing is, this book seems awfully political. Now, I like just any book in general I'll read, but I don't like political, like nuanced political books. They're not my favorite, and I thought this would be a great example to vlog and maybe find a Stephen King book that I don't like, because I think that's what's gonna end up happening with this book. My predictions for this are that I'm not gonna like it, I'm gonna find it too political, and it's not going to resonate with me like his stuff normally does, so we shall see. But this is day one of the vlog. I don't know how long it's going to take me to read this. I'm going to be just reading it primarily at home so I can give you guys my full thoughts, because if I read it at work, then I won't be able to discuss what I'm reading as I'm reading it. And how perfect is this cup for this vlog? It is from The Shining. I think in a video I said it was from The Stand. That's hilarious. But yeah, that's gonna be for this update. I'm gonna read probably like 20 pages right now and see what I think, and I will update you guys as soon as I have thoughts. So I haven't even started reading yet, like haven't read a single page, but I have to show you guys something. So I didn't flip through the book because I didn't want any kind of spoilers, but I did, you know, obviously start. Look at all the drawings in the book. Look at this. That is so cute. So the first chapter is called Losing Weight, and this is what it looks like. If my camera, look, oh my god. I hope there are these every single chapter. I'm just gonna kind of flip through and see if they do them for every chapter. Yeah, they definitely do. So there's little pictures for every chapter. I wonder who did these. Look, I'm an emotional wreck this week, and this for some reason is totally tickling me. I am excited now. Drawings, cute puppies, hello, and I like, obviously, Castle Rock, so I'm super excited. But now, I'm actually going to go ahead and read it. So far, what I've gathered from this story is Scott is our main character, and he's losing weight rapidly. The scales say he's losing weight, but he doesn't look like he's losing weight. And the weird thing is that even with all of his clothes on, the scale always says the same weight. So when he takes the clothes off, it still says the same weight. So he's losing weight, but not showing that he's losing weight, and it's not affected by how much he's holding or carrying or wearing, which I think is really cool. He goes to his old doctor, Ellis, who he becomes friends with playing tennis or golf, I can't remember. I think it's tennis, because his wife plays golf, and he is retired. He's an old retired doctor, and the doctor can't figure out, you know, kind of like what's happening, and that's all I've read. I'm on page 11 right now. I need to get ready for work, however, so that's probably where I'm going to leave the book tonight, but I'm going to try to come home and read a good bit of it. So far it's really intriguing. I actually really like the characters. I know it's been like a whole 2 that we've been introduced to. It's been a whole 10 pages. But once again, Stephen King does prove that I can fall for his characters pretty much immediately. So if anything gets me through this book, it's probably going to be that. But that will be it for my update for now. I will check in with you guys when I read a little bit tonight, probably before I go to bed. So I'll see you guys in a little bit. Hello. I am home. It's like almost midnight. I'm sitting down to read more of Elevation. I am on page 11 right now, and like I said earlier, there's only 146 pages, so I'm hoping I can finish it tonight and do updates with you guys as I read it and give you my full thoughts by the end of the night. I am just gonna put like a show or something on in the background on my Xbox and just try to veg out and get into the book itself. Yeah, I only have 150 pages left. I should be able to do that in a couple of hours, and then hopefully I can edit and upload this vlog for you guys. I'm making dinner right now, so that'll obviously take a little bit of time. But yeah, I just want to relax and read. I'm so in the mood to do that. I'm not often really in the mood to do that. I know that's kind of strange to say, but I usually like to read when I'm at work. That's like my normal mode, but when I'm home, there's always something that I want to work on, but I don't want to work on anything right now. I just want to read. I really want to dive into this book and see what it's all about, because somebody whose reviews I really trust said that she actually really liked it and it made her feel very emotional. So I'm excited to see what that's about. So I'll update you guys when I have more thoughts on the book. So I haven't gotten to read much because I really need to go to bed. I am on page 29, but I do have a few thoughts about it so far. So our 2 main characters, the first part of the book focuses on Dr. Bob and our main character Scott, and it's about him describing to the doctor the fact that no matter what he wears, or if he's naked or has a ton of clothes or is holding weights, the scale always says the same whether he's naked or has a bunch of stuff on. But the weird thing is that he's losing weight, but he does not look like he's losing weight, but he's rapidly losing it. I think right now he's at like 30 pounds at the part that I'm in that he's lost, or a little over 30. So I'm kind of wondering what that plays into the story, what plot that might have. I don't know. And the other thing that I find interesting and kind of want to know what's going on from the story so far is there are 2 ladies. Let's see. Let me find Missy and Deidre. They are a lesbian couple that own a restaurant in the town that he lives in. And he lives next to them, and they have these 2 boxers, I believe, the boxer dogs, and they shit in his yard every day, and he has asked them to, you know, not let them do that, and they react in a way that is like, oh, well, they're assuming that he's being prejudiced against them because they are a lesbian couple, and Castle Rock is pretty small. Like, if you've read any of the other books, it's a pretty small location. So I get why they're reacting the way that they're reacting, but it actually kind of pissed me off because at one point in time, he actually gets a picture of the dog shitting in his yard, and the woman's like, oh, you just wanted to get one up on me. Let me see if I can find this spot. And I was like, wow, bitch, she's just saying. Going to the animal control guy over a few piles of dog crap never crossed my mind, Mrs. McComb. Look, I just wanted to be good neighbors. My only problem was the way you brushed me off, refused to take me seriously. This isn't how good neighbors do it, at least not around here.
And she responds with, "Oh, we know exactly how good neighbors do," she said, "around here." The slightly superior smile came back, and she closed the door with it still on her face. Not before, however, he had seen a gleam in her eyes that might have been tears. "We know exactly how good neighbors do around here," he thought, walking back down the hill. What the hell did that mean? So, like I said, this book has a little bit of political stuff in it, which is not my favorite, and it's not what I come for when I read Stephen King, but he's just been super political recently. But we'll see how the rest of the story goes, because apparently he's supposed to start sympathizing and understanding where they are coming from. So it'll be nice to read that, because it is something that I care about, but I just hear so much about politics constantly that I just don't really want to read it in my books right now. I don't know, if you live in the United States, you know what I mean. It's basically like, you cannot ignore politics right now. It's like literally like, I don't need to go looking for news, it comes to me. So reading this kind of thing in a book, maybe it'll be nice, it'll be like a different take on it, but I don't know, I'm just so tired of it. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this update. I'm going to go to bed. I am really tired. So I will see you guys later.
Hello and happy Friday. I am popping in here to talk to you guys about what I am thinking of Elevation. I am, let's see how many pages into it I am. I just read a little bit. I'm on page 63, which is chapter 3. I'm hoping to bring it in with me to work and finish it. But I want to talk to you guys about how I'm feeling about it. So our main character, his name is Scott, and he has 2 women who live next to him, Deidre, and I can't remember her wife's name. But essentially, one of them is very gruff, the other one is not. They run a restaurant in the town. You get a little bit more information about that. The locals do not support them. They often say things like, oh, if they, you know, being gay, whatever, being lesbians is fine, but it was an affront to all of us when she announces her as her wife. They talk about being married, all this other stuff. And Deidre is a runner. She's like almost made it to the Olympics, and then didn't go through with it. And they're having like a 12K turkey trot, and they're trying to bring in money for it. And they put Deidre on the front of it because she was once again a really good runner, and they were hoping to bring money in for it. But people aren't signing up for the run because she's a lesbian. And it's really, to think that this stuff does exist, I would be ignorant to say that I didn't know it did, but I don't know. Like I said with this book, I was afraid that it was going to be too political, but once again, you can tell that this is something that Stephen genuinely cares about, because also I follow him on Twitter, so I hear about all these things, but it's kind of comforting to read it in it's more character driven and more real life driven than if just Stephen, you know what I mean? Like it was like forced political talk. I'm actually really liking it. I'm shocked because I didn't think I would. I honestly thought that I was going to hate this book, but so far, I really love it. I love the characters, and it's cool that there's still, you know, Scott is still losing weight, but not looking any different, and his weight isn't changing no matter what he's wearing or how much he's eaten. So I think that's really cool too. So it has like this air of, you know, kind of like supernatural stuff going on, but also this like story of human rights going on at the same time. So it is really interesting. I want to finish it tonight and then give you guys my full thoughts on it, and then be able to put up this vlog, because a lot of people asked for this actually, which I was shocked about. I guess this book was very intriguing to a lot of people. So hopefully I'm able to finish it either tonight or tomorrow to give you guys a full update on it. But yeah, that is what I'm thinking of it so far. I'm going to go into work right now, probably finish reading it right now. I'm over halfway through, or almost halfway through it. And I'm only on chapter 3, so it's a quite short book. So if you wanted to read something Stephen King but didn't want to read one of his bigger things, this is a good place to start, I suppose. But yeah, I will check in with you guys as soon as I can, as soon as I am done with the book, and I will give you my full thoughts on everything and kind of what happens, and yeah, it'll be fun to just talk to you guys about it. Hi guys, so it has been a few days since I've updated you, but this is going to be the last update that I have for Elevation. I did actually finish this. I finished this a couple of days ago and wanted to give myself time to think about what I wanted to say in this, because I didn't really like this book. I thought I wasn't going to, and looky here, I was right. I have a lot of thoughts about this book. I want to go over a couple of things that happened in it that I read that, I don't know, I just wanted to talk about. I can't remember the last couple of things that I talked about, but I want to just go over a few of the things and just overall what I thought of it. So our main character, Scott, at one point in time is talked to by the nicer wife, whose name I can't remember. I can't remember if it's Missy, if that's her name. But he is trying so hard, or just doesn't understand that prejudices exist in the world, especially the prejudices that his neighbors experience, 2 women in this story. And for me, the story just seemed pretty forced. I don't know if it's because it is so short or what. I just didn't love it. Now, I do like Scott. I like Scott a lot as a main character. I think that he's really enjoyable. I do like older male characters in stories though, especially I think that Stephen does them very well. Overall though, with this book, I had a few problems. So the thing about this is I feel like this may have been too short of a novel. I wanted it to be, I feel, a little bit bigger, maybe like 300 pages, because a lot of the story seems a bit rushed. At one point in time, the woman, oh my god, what is her name? She essentially, Deidre, comes to his home and it is following, they have like a race that they do that I was telling you guys about, and Scott actually almost wins the race with Deidre. Deidre slips and he helps her up, and they placed a bet before then that if he won, she had to come over for dinner. And Deidre, even though she still wins, kind of sees what he's trying to do at that point and decides that she wants to go to his house and try to build bridges. And it was so strange. I feel like somebody who had been discriminated against for being a lesbian all of their life, I imagine, wouldn't just suddenly want to, especially considering how everything is. You know, Scott does visit their restaurant at one point and Deidre asks him to never come back, you know, just to stop trying to white knight everything, that she doesn't want his help. She seems very firm in it, and then all of a sudden she changes her mind and they become really great friends. And you know, Dr. Bob and his wife and Deidre and her wife and Scott all start having these little groups together, and it was just really odd. It just didn't sink in with me. It wasn't something that I really enjoyed, honestly. It was just very weird to me. I wanted to love it. I truly, truly did. I just did not. The most exciting thing about this book, I think, was the affliction that Scott had, where no matter what he was wearing, he was still constantly losing weight, and he, you know, always weighed the same with or without his clothes on. And the ending of this book is pretty touching, I will say that. You know, Scott does kind of eventually waste away and go up into the universe, and it was just so short, and you know, there wasn't like any depth to it. I feel like you're supposed to really care for the characters. I think that this could have been either a short story or a longer novel, but I feel like the length that it is at, it just seemed like something that he was releasing to try to just release something. And I was expecting a much bigger novel. When I ordered this, I was expecting it to be, you know, like the size of Salem's Lot, or, you know, the size of the Tommyknocker, something like that. And the fact that it's 146 pages, I feel like it could have benefited from, I think, a little bit more. And I don't know, I'm really sad. I keep saying that, but I love everything that Stephen puts out, like literally everything. The only book I've ever not liked from him is Lizzie's Story, and I'm actually going to try to reread that because I think I was just reading it at the wrong time in my life. But I gave this 3 stars. Not the worst book I've ever read, but not what sinks in for me as a Stephen King novel. I do value that he was attempting to kind of speak about political issues. If you guys follow him on any other social media, especially Twitter, he does address that a lot. Like, he is really about social issues and social justice in the United States right now, but I don't want to read about that. And I'm not saying that took away from this book, because I think that aspect was done in a really good way. It was very realistic, but it's just, it didn't vibe with me. Like, it doesn't vibe with me as a Stephen King book. And that's not to say that authors can't go outside of their genres or out of what they normally do, but it needs to be done well, and it wasn't done well. I think that that could have been something that he made into a larger novel. And then I also think at the same time that maybe he didn't want to make it a larger novel. He wanted it to be just like a small thing, because it is so far outside of his genre. There's no horror in this. There's no, you know, spook in it at all, like that we know and love from him. It was very different. I feel like this could have been something that like a contemporary author wrote, or any other author. It just didn't feel like King. Now the writing is very King-esque, but it just didn't feel like him. And for that reason I gave it 3 stars. And I'm going to be keeping it, obviously. It's still a Stephen King book, and it's still one that I didn't hate, but it wasn't as great as I wanted it to be. It's definitely like a 2.5, closer to, I guess, 3-star read for me. It's fun, it's short. If you're reading it as not a King fan, I think that you'd like it even more, but I think because I have been such a long time King fan, it felt a little hollow and a little weird to me. So, I mean, you're not gonna like everything that your favorite author does. I mean, he does have like 1,001 books, and this whole shelf is all Stephen King. So there are other books that I definitely enjoyed more than this, but as its own thing, I mean, I guess it's okay. I just wish it maybe would have been written by a different author or maybe a little bit longer. But yeah, that is how I feel about Elevation. I think that it's okay. Not great, but it's okay. I hope you guys enjoyed this vlog on this book. I wanted to give you guys more updates as I was reading it, but obviously I am still at work. But those are my overall thoughts. So essentially, I guess this is a book review that I have done, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know down below if you've read this or if you plan on reading it. And what you thought of it if you have read it, because I feel like a lot of people are really jumping on this one because it is quite short, so it's a pretty easy read for people. But that is what I felt of it. I hope you guys are having a good day. That completes this video, and I will see you guys in my next one.